Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is Steven and I run Happy Saturday, and today we are testing Morning Recovery, one of the most popular hangover supplements on the market. So we are doing a scientific test today like we have done for other products. We are going to be taking this 30 minutes before we start drinking, and then we're going to do 8 shots of Costco vodka and some other vodka that we have, but 80 proof vodka. We're gonna take 1 shot every 30 minutes from 6:30 to 10:30, and then we're gonna see how we feel in the morning. Now, about a few weeks ago, I did a control where I did the same 8 shots with the same vodka, the same time frame, and I measured how I feel with no supplements at all. So that's our baseline. I had a minor hangover that day, but nothing crazy. We're hoping that Morning Recovery makes a big difference and makes us feel a lot better tomorrow. So what is Morning Recovery? Morning Recovery is basically a kitchen sink of supplements that they basically took everything on the market that could possibly help a hangover and put it in a bottle, and they made it taste good. And there's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of science around the main ingredients here. DMH, which is also found in Cheers Restore, prickly pear, Korean pear concentrates. Those are both proven to help hangovers. Some green tea concentrate and ginseng, which should help nausea, and a bunch of vitamins and stuff. So a lot of B vitamins and stuff like that gets depleted while drinking alcohol. Now, I think this will work. I have tried this before, and I do think it helps a little bit, but there are some things I don't love about it right off the bat. So immediately it's 40 calories for some reason when it really doesn't need to be. And that's because it actually does have added sugar in it. You get the sugar-free version as shown behind me, which will probably reduce the calories. It might taste more artificial because it's probably using stevia leaf extract. This is also using stevia leaf extract. So I expect this to be really, really sweet. I think they're just trying to make it taste good and trying to make you come back and drink more. But if you look at Cheers Restore, for example, it has a lot of the same ingredients and it has no added sugars because it's in a pill. So you take 3 pills of that and you're kind of getting the same thing here. But Cheers Restore says, drink responsibly and then take 3 pills as you go to bed, where even though this has many of the same ingredients, this says drink before or during or after. So today we are going to try drinking it before, and we're going to see how it tastes. We're going to see how it works. And More Labs has, I think, 6 or 7 flavors for this. So this is a highly marketed product that's designed to sell and probably taste like candy. Now, Morning Recovery, like we said, has less strict rules about when to take it, and that's simply because it's digested faster than something like ZBiotics. So this is, again, just a bunch of supplements that are digested by your system pretty quickly. So I expect it to have not as big of an effect, but also to just be easier to fit into my lifestyle. I can take it while I'm drinking if I forgot to start, or I can take it before I go to bed and try and get some of the results from that. So one of these bottles is going to cost you anywhere from $6 to $7 to $4, depending on how many you pick up at once. And basically what that represents is it's a little bit more expensive than Cheers Restore, and it's a little bit less expensive than ZBiotics. And I think it has a few more ingredients than Cheers Restore. It seems to be well dosed in this from the fruit extract that it's made from. So that's pretty much it. We're going to put this thing down now. We're going to check in with how I'm feeling during, and we're going to check in on how I feel tomorrow. All right, it's 6 o'clock now, so we're going to try our Morning Recovery. They shake well? Probably does. That was aggressive. It really just tasted like green tea. It was really, you could taste the tea concentrate in there. It was very bitter. And frankly, it was a lot of liquid to get down. That wasn't my favorite thing. Even though they do add sugar in stevia leaf extract, it wasn't that sweet and it wasn't my favorite thing. It tasted kind of like a 5-hour energy, honestly, with more volume. So let's see how it works. We're gonna start drinking here in a half hour. All right, it's about 10:30 here and we are finishing up our last drink. Not gonna lie, I do feel pretty drunk. I feel way more drunk than when I took ZBiotics before drinking. Again, we've had the same 8 shots that we did before. The only difference that we had is we had to switch to Watershed vodka for the last, I think, 2 shots as we ran out of the Costco vodka, but it's the same 40%, 80 proof vodka, multi-times distilled. So I think for the comparison test, it's gonna be exactly the same. I do feel really energized. I feel like I could do cancer research right now. I feel even it tasted like tea, and maybe it tricked my body into thinking that there was caffeine in it, even though those bottles say they're caffeine free. I feel like I've had more caffeine than I should have, and it's getting ready for bedtime and I'm not tired at all. I don't feel really, really drunk. I feel energized. So let's check in on the hangover tomorrow. It is the morning after and we are hungover. The night after taking morning recovery and doing 8 shots of vodka, I don't feel much better than the control, and frankly, I think I slept much worse. So last night, my sleep score was a 47, which is really bad, and it felt like a 47. I was tossing and turning all night. In the same vein that I felt kind of wired last night, I woke up at probably 3:30. Stomach felt super bloated, felt like I was turning over, and I was just awake, wide awake for probably about 45 minutes to an hour. So did this work? I don't have a crazy hangover, and I don't feel like I'm nauseous or anything like that. So in that sense, it kind of worked, but I think it did affect my sleep pretty significantly, and that is going to make me feel worse than just having a headache the next day, I think, honestly. So overall, not super impressed with how this worked for me. Frankly, a lot of the things in here, like the B vitamins and the calcium and all those things that are supposed to make you feel better, I already eat a pretty complete diet and do take vitamins and stuff like that. So I think those kinds of things don't really help me as much as maybe they help someone else who doesn't have as clean of a diet. The other More Labs blend in here, which has all the special stuff that's really supposed to help, I think it does work, but this product and Cheers Restore have both woken me up in the middle of the night, stomach turning over feeling. So I think it's gotta be the DHM in there. It does relieve that pain from a hangover, but it also really disturbs my sleep. So it's kind of not a perfect product in that sense. It's interesting, my sleep was so disturbed. I really didn't have a high caffeine day yesterday. I kept it right around 200 milligrams yesterday. Had Italian for dinner, chicken parm, typical dinner for me, and didn't overeat really, so I didn't expect to be woken up by my food intake. We all know that hangovers aren't a perfect science. Sometimes you get a worse hangover for no reason, but I was pretty surprised by how worse I felt today, even though we drank, again, the same amount of alcohol we have in the other tests. I start to wonder, as this is really just a kitchen sink pack of supplements, if I could take it in a different way and maybe it would help me better. So I took it 30 minutes before drinking this time. Maybe for me, it would work better if I take it after drinking before I go to bed, or I drink one before drinking and one in the morning after, or maybe half in the morning, half before drinking and half at the end of the night. I don't really know. It says right here, for best results, drink before drinking or while drinking. I did before drinking. I don't know. So is this really worth it? I think for my money, I think I prefer Cheers Restore a little bit more. A bunch of the same active ingredients, no added sugars or added liquid that you need to put down. I think the pills are a little bit easier for me, and Cheers does end up being a little bit cheaper per serving. This is a completely different hangover supplement than ZBiotics pre-alcohol, so I'm not even gonna really compare them. ZBiotics does a way better job of actually breaking down the things that make you feel shitty after drinking alcohol. This is really just a band-aid on top of maybe a bad diet or things that you're missing from things that get depleted when drinking alcohol. That being said, if this was in my house, I'm gonna use the rest of these that I have. I bought a 6-pack. It's not like they did nothing. I feel like they did something, but I wasn't super impressed.